Before we begin, thank you very much to I Didn't Realize How Much I Need TJOmega in My Life for joining the Patreon campaign. You and me both. I had no idea how much I need me, but I do. If you need TJOmega in your life, don't forget that the Patreon helps keep TJOmega around. So thank you very much to everyone willing to support, and understandably, there's a lot who cannot. Hitting like and subscribe helps a lot too. Always appreciate the people who do that as well. So, it is time for the big video. The video that every Transformer channel has to do within the first 2 weeks of January. Otherwise, they are breaking a YouTube law of some kind, I'm sure. We're here today to discuss the top 10 Transformers of 2023. Now, before we go into a main list and before we get to the actual countdown, keep in mind there are a few rules that we have to abide by for this list. So, number 1, nothing third party. Okay? I don't care how nice that fancy Transmetal Tarantulas was, it wasn't produced by Hasbro or Takara or by one of their partners, was it? That means it's not a real Transformer. I know they are nice. We want official stuff only for this list. Number 2, we are grading toys based on bang for your buck. How good the toy felt for how much I paid, or for how good I expected it to be for the amount I paid, which allows us to fairly compare something like a Core Series figure to a Commander class figure. You know, not saying that's going to be the case in this list, but you get the idea. And number 3, keep in mind, I couldn't buy everything this year. There are figures that fell through the cracks or just never were available to me. A short list of ones that we will not be discussing in today's video. Studio Series Scourge, who anytime I had the money kicking around for it, I couldn't find it. And anytime I had the money, I wasn't interested. Never did those things align, and now you can't get it for a normal price. Heard it's quite good, though. Nemesis. Never really felt like she was worth the $200 asking price. She just kind of felt like some weird version of the Ark with less features and a design that overall I really wasn't into. Reactivate Starscream I've heard really, really good things about. For some reason, even though I was pretty sure these things shipped together, I only got one of the 2 sets in the mail. I'm still waiting for the other one. So that's unfortunate. And I've heard great things about the new Legacy United animated Optimus Prime. Much as a mouthful as it is to say, it is in that little mid-range between what is actually a 2023 figure and the 2024 line, because shipping dates no longer matter and things just show up whenever they want to show up. So I didn't get mine in yet, so he will not be on the list despite the really good praise it's gotten. So instead, we are going to focus on the 10 toys I was able to get and the ones that surprised me and made me smile the most throughout the year of 2023. We're going to start with a rather unexpected place because it is an EarthSpark toy, and oh, I'm sure someone's going to light up the comments over this one. We are going to be talking about talk about Nightshade. I may or may not be putting Nightshade in just to upset the right type of people. Suffice to say, the toy itself is exceptionally nice, considering it is in a line that is heavily budgeted. The deco on it is quite nice. If you get the Takara version, it's even better. The robot mode is really, really well done. The transformation is simple and well executed. Now, what's impressive about that is I think even when, like, as soon as we found out what Nightshade's alt mode was going to be, the question was, how are they going to get that slender robot to turn into a beefy owl? And they actually managed to pull it off, and rather cleanly, I might add. Is it perfect? No, but it wasn't going to be perfect at that price point, at that particular toy line. But for what it's doing, I think it does it exceptionally well. Come on, looking really, really nice. It's a fun toy to just mess with. The owl mode is surprisingly playable. There's quite a bit of play in that beast mode. And the only weird thing about it are the knives, which do seem weird for the character, but they had to include some accessory for kids to mess with, so I will look past it. Regardless, Nightshade, really, really nice figure, and probably one of the best highlights out of the Earthrise EarthSpark. Apologies, I'm never going to not mess that up. Yeah, one of the best examples that EarthSpark shown of how good they can actually make their toys. Number 9 surprised me the most, not only because it's a very clever figure, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. And this is going to be Javelin from an Amazon 2-pack of snipers based on IDW 2.0, which is like the bigger surprise to me here. The fact that we got 2.0 figures. Now, for starters, using the Bumblebee movie line of toys to create, these obscure figures is actually pretty brilliant. The alt mode is not terribly far off from the alt mode Javelin had in the comic books, and it's a really, really nice take on RC. One of the better transforming RC toys, by the way, so it's a really clever mold to use. Someone at Hasbro is on point figuring this out. And then, yeah, the robot mode just looks really, really nice. I love the unique head on it. The color palette works really well. The pink hits just right on this figure. I think the coolest thing, and I have to go back to the vehicle mode to show this, because this was a sniper showdown, one of the most thematic things about this toy is the fact that the sniper rifle has to be assembled piece by piece. Like you see in the movie where the sniper goes up to the rooftop with a briefcase and starts assembling the sniper rifle on the spot. That's what you do with this figure. And those are also optional, so you also get options in how your weapon looks as well. So all around, like, surprisingly nice figure. I wish Cascade, the 2-pack partner, wasn't just using the same old female mold left over from Power of the Primes. I know it's a total remold, but it's still the same toy. But at least we had this one. And I was surprised, really surprised at how much I ended up liking her. Number 8 is also a remold from a previous toy, and actually one going a fair ways back, but it finally scratched the itch that I've been waiting for this mold to finally scratch. Let's talk about Amazon's Nova Prime briefly here. So I tried this mold out every time it was released. I did so as Optimus when it turned into a weird kind of like truncated version of Cybertron Optimus Prime and a weird half-made version of G1 Prime. I didn't like it splitting the difference. And then the Ultra Magnus did the same between G1 and RID, and I don't think either one really came out well. But then we get to the Nova Prime version, and this one just hits right. I mean, yeah, if you're a purist about it, you could probably poke at little things the toy does wrong, but I think for what it is, it's the best iteration of the mold we got. And I think it's because I don't have any preconceived notions about what a Nova Prime toy should be. Like, this isn't trying to be a weird G1 Magnus. This isn't trying to be a weird Cybertron Optimus. It's just trying to be the first Nova Prime released at retail. Technically Hasbro didn't even make the first one that came out. FunPub did. So to have this figure out and available now, yeah, it just wears the mold really, really well. And it brings out the fun side of the figure that I was missing from the Magnus and Optimus versions of it. Yeah, drastic improvement. It's probably the last time we'll see the mold, probably for the best, but at least it goes out on a really good bang. Number 7 continues a trend that Studio Series 86 has been carrying pretty much for years now, and we've probably only got 1 year of it left. Let us talk about Studio Series Snarl from their 86 line. Amazing that he's in the 86 line, considering he's in the movie for approximately 4 seconds, but you have to release him at the same size and the same toy line as the other Dinobots, which they did, and I'm thrilled with how he came out. These Dinobots in general, like the Grimlock pretty much just does standard Grimlock, but everyone since has had some really clever amount of engineering that just shows just how good they've gotten at rendering the Dinobots. I mean, these are, from what I am concerned, definitive versions. If you want retail level Dinobots, this is as good as we're ever going to get, I think, outside of them finally doing more than Grimlock at the Masterpiece scale. The Stegosaurus mode looks great, transforms really well. Like all the other Dinobots, it's got some extremely clever engineering in order to make things work and for the robot mode to come out as clean as it does. I mean, engineering-wise, the Dinobots after Grimlock have all done really impressive things. And more impressive to me is the fact that they've been able to maintain the size and the bulk and the weight of these toys, even despite the fact that we know the toys constantly shrink and hollow out, etc. They've kept the Dinobots consistently rock solid, and it still shows in Snarl. I'm crossing fingers because we've got one to go. It's my favorite of the original cast, Swoop, and I am so ready for it. I'm so ready to see how they treat him and to finally see all 5 of the Dinobots at this scale all together. I mentioned that I only got one set of Reactivate figures so far, but guess what? The set was really good. And if you saw my review, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Reactivate Optimus Prime has made this list. For starters, it fixes a lot of what bugs me about Optimus Prime transformations these days. You don't have feet sticking out the back. You don't have a hollow gap, this huge hollow gap in the rear section of the vehicle mode. The truck mode is really nicely rendered. I dig the big front bumper with all the battle scars on it and the wear and tear. Looks appropriately placed for what it is. And it's just a really good take on Optimus's classic vehicle mode. And then you get to the robot mode after a really nice transformation sequence that has a few clever tricks of its own. Similar to what the Earthrise Optimus Prime had, but it's still doing its own thing at the same time. Yeah, it's just a really solid Optimus. Looks really good, plays really good. Doesn't have any weirdness to its rifle. No fold in half thing or anything like that. It's just a really nice rifle. I even like the new take on the Energon axe with all the black mixed into the orange. Just all around, just such a good Optimus Prime. And yeah, in general, like, since I've heard good things about the other reaction set, you know, and the Soundwave wasn't bad either, I'm amazed. This feels like what Studio Series Gamer Edition should have been. And if we get more Reactivate toys when the game gets closer to launch, I'm going to be even more in love with this. If they keep up the consistency that the first 4 have had, it's going to be a sleeper line. It's going to be a line that you don't expect, you know, that no one really thought would be as good as it is. But from all signs, if Optimus is anything to go by, it's going to be really good. Here's the kind of toy I'm talking about when I say bang for your buck. And when I mention this, let's get this out of the way. I way overpaid for mine, but I'm still very happy with the purchase. Let's talk about Core Series Airazor. Keep in mind, this was supposed to be out a year before it actually was released. This was supposed to be the main line for Rise of the Beast, and it was supposed to be kid-oriented, so this was going to be a lower-priced deluxe figure. What it ended up being was either something you had to get a multi-pack, which never showed up in my area, or you had to do what I did and import out of Japan at a hefty overcharge. That said, what I got is something so well done for what it was supposed to be. For starters, look at the bird mode on this toy. It's one of the best bird transformers I've ever seen. Like, they solved just about every issue I've ever had with a bird transformer, all in one swoop. Not a pun, by the way. And then we get to the robot mode. You get a really lovely transformation and a really cool looking take on Airazor. I could easily imagine this being close to what her robot mode in the movie should have been. It's not as extreme or like darkly detailed as the Studio Series figure she eventually got. It's just a really cool take on Airazor with a really nice, unique look to her. It looks like Airazor, but it looks like a new, fresh version of Airazor, which I think is what the movie designs should really shoot for. Roll that in with a very clever transformation, and you just got a really good all-around figure. If I had paid the original asking price that this should have been, I would have been so thrilled with it. Even overpaying, I'm still happy with what I got, which will tell you just how nice of a figure it is. And it's a shame. It's a real shame this didn't get the distribution it was planned for, because, wow, a lot of people missed out on a real gem with this one. Number 4 is going to be a surprise to you because, frankly, it's a surprise to me because it breaks 2 of the things that I have been adamantly against for a while. My number 4 is Masterpiece Bonecrusher, which is weird for me because, one, I've been very attentive to how bad some masterpieces have turned out in the last few years, but also I've been very critical about movie aesthetics, as you know. I'm not big on the Michael Bay aesthetic of Transformers. I don't know why Bonecrusher is the exception. And when you tell me the Bonecrusher is getting a top-tier toy, okay, now you have my attention. And when I found out that it turned out really, really good, okay, I might actually treat myself. I think this was one of my, I hit 50,000 subscriber, self-celebration purchases. And a very, very nice one. Aside from, okay, so for starters, the truck mode, the Minesweeper mode, oh, this is so good. It is so, so good. It's a fantastic rendition of the vehicle. I love that the arm has so much play to it. They do require part swapping, which I don't think there was any way of avoiding with this one, but, it's kind of an accessory piece, so I can accept that. Then you get to the robot mode, and you get to the robot mode with a really involved transformation that doesn't feel too over the top for Masterpiece, especially for movie Masterpiece. Admittedly, I'm going to need the instructions, or I'm going to need to watch a video as I go through it a few more times, but it's one that I definitely feel like I can get a hold of. For now, I just really like it in robot mode, just looming around the rest of my collection. It turned out so, so nice, and I'm surprised at how well it poses and displays despite a lot of the oddities to the robot mode, like the way the feet work. Structurally, that should not work, but it does. The wide stance of the shoulders, everything about it. And I love how none of this cheats. When you see the segmented windshields from the side of the vehicle mode going around the shoulders like big straps, that's actually how it transforms. There are no fake parts to the toy. It's really, really impressive the way it all comes together. It's also one of those silly masterpieces that come with kind of fun accessories. I like leaving the flames on him. And yeah, if the pose is right, yeah, let's do the dangly eye and the damaged face. Why not? I am really surprised how much I like it. Considering I'm breaking 2 different rules in order to make the purchase, I don't know. Bonecrusher just always worked for me. So I'm really, really happy. Of all the masterpieces that turned out good, his was one of them. It's been a good year for Optimus Prime toys, and really the ones on this list are already good, and I could have put more on this list. The Rise of the Beast Optimuses, both core and studio series, both turned out really, really nice. I could have put the new animated one I heard was really good. I could have put the Volvo Optimus Prime. That one was really nice. But for now, we're going to be talking about the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime because this one took me completely by surprise. And the more Gamer Edition toys we get, the more this just feels like an oddity, an exception rather than the rule. It's a really, really good figure. I mean, for starters, vehicle mode, spot on. And I love the look of it. I love how unique of a vehicle it is. It's spectacular design. Love that they rendered it so well. Transformation's way better than the original. I found the original one just way too fiddly and a little bit too involved. This one hits a really nice, happy point where it just feels good to transform. And then you get to that robot mode, and the robot is so beefy and huge for a Voyager. Now, I know it gets there through some hollowed parts. I don't really mind that as long as those parts still feel solid, and the toy does still feel solid. It's a brilliant figure, and I love the play that it has. I really like how the axe is done because it gives you nice variety in both single and double-bladed axe mode. If I have one grievance, it's that it cannot use its rifle as in a traditional handheld way, which Hasbro has acknowledged. That was an oversight, and they are going to be doing that with Gamer Edition going forward, assuming it survives the bad reputation it's getting. But the first one out of the gates is absolutely the best. This is a really fun Optimus Prime toy. Love the look, love the play, the transformation, all around, like just spectacular figure for what it's doing. And I'm crossing fingers that whatever we get next out of Gamer Edition is more like this, less like everything else Gamer Edition. This one is probably not fair to put on this list, but you know what? There is absolutely no denying it. HasLab did another fantastic job on another Transformer project. Deathsaurus is pretty much everything we could have wanted out of a brand new Deathsaurus figure. It is very large, very solid, very well engineered and constructed, and littered with accessories and features. I find it to be just as good as Victory Saber in different ways. I mean, they scratch different itches. Obviously, there is more interactive play value with Victory Saber since it's two robots with individual modes that combine and have their own gimmicks. Deathsaurus hits in a different way, where it's just a really nice rendition and a really big, solid figure with a really nice transformation. And just so many characterful accessories. Like, there's so many ways of displaying this guy, and you just, you've just got your pick. You just got your choice of here, and I love choices in the figures. Not to mention all the gimmicks from the original toy are retained. The tail still becomes a shield. He still has two of his like breast minions. I never remember what to call them. And yeah, he still turns into the Satan chicken, which is always fantastic. Then, yeah, the throne, the sword, everything about this toy came out so good. You expect it though, right? Because it's made to order, because HasLabs run such a hefty price for what they are, you do expect it to be good. But it's when the figures are just this well done. I can feel why we're getting a premium price for it. And I mean, I'll say it. If this had come out at retail, even as a commander class, this would have been gutted so much. It wouldn't be doing nearly what it does here. It wouldn't be nearly as robust or involved. Definitely wouldn't have come with nearly as many parts as it did. This is the way that the figure should have been rendered. And HasLab's the only way to accomplish that because of the obscurity of the character. Just overall fantastic figure. And I think it learns a lot from the failure. Like, Star Saber had very few like missteps, but I feel like they learned from them, and Deathsaurus really benefits from that. So yeah, unfortunate that it's not a normal release, and we technically had to buy it last year, but it came out this year, so I'm crediting it now, and yeah, it's absolutely one of the best. But it's not the best, and I'm almost angry at what the best toy of 2023 is. I'm almost frustrated and angry at it that I have to admit, of all toys to really impress me, of all toys that feel like they are worth the price you are paying for it, I have to admit it. It was Armada Optimus. Something that the original version is absolutely Plastic Addict worthy, and now here we are in our year 2023, well, 24 now, and Optimus Prime from Transformers Armada got the best toy they released. Now, comparing it to other Commander class toys, the ones that came out before and after. So if I look at like Menasor or Motormaster, that is a really, really good toy. And it even does everything that Optimus Prime here does, right down to a super mode. Weird looking one, but technically, yes, super mode. Prime just does all of it so much better. Like, Stranders, I will admit, yeah, it's a cooler looking vehicle mode. It's not just a standard truck, so, that's nice. And it is really, really well rendered, extremely beefy, extremely heavy. We saw it even has the base mode. You probably don't use it, but it has a base mode. And I'd call it a better base mode than what Menasor had. I keep calling it Menasor. No, Motormaster. Yes, it's not accurate to the original, but the original wasn't all that to write home about either. So the fact that it has any base mode, I'm going to give it credit. And then you got the super mode, which actually accomplishes what I didn't think was possible. It's a very, very articulated and very involved version of Armada Optimus Prime. just in every way, shape, and form. This toy was done so well and exceeds so many expectations I had going into it. And comparing it to Motormaster is one thing. I mean, it's a superior toy to Motormaster, who is already good. But looking ahead and comparing it to, say, like Studio Series Ultra Magnus, he doesn't make the list because for the price, I just felt like he didn't do that much. And it felt like his design was just overthought out, and his proportions were weird. Like, there were so many little faults in that toy, I couldn't comfortably put it on this list. And the toy that came just before it at the exact same price point is infinitely better. From a character who really has no admittedly has no business being better than Magnus, who's got all the seniority on this version of Optimus that there can be. But undeniable, best toy of 2023 has to be Armada Optimus Prime. It does so much as a figure. It does it all really, really well. And it does something that is very, very rare, which is make me feel absolutely comfortable paying full retail for a Commander class toy. So congratulations for a glow up. It might have taken you a while, a good 20 years, Optimus from Armada, but you glowed up real good. Congrats. You are the best toy of the year. And that's going to be my list. Like I said, I couldn't buy it all, so your favorite might be missing from this list. And keep in mind, it's all just opinion. It's just the ones that I enjoyed the most. You are free to disagree, and I'm sure you will in the comments below. But you feel free to go have that fun and try to be civil in the discussions. I will be making the next video for you, as I usually do. So, thank you everyone for watching. Until next time.